There is a profound and difficult form of wisdom that asks us to untether our actions from their outcomes. This idea is an act of rebellion against the modern world. We live in a culture that is fundamentally transactional. We demand a return on our investment, a clear feedback loop, a measurable result for our efforts. We want to see the likes, track the metrics, and know that the energy we expend will come back to us in some recognizable form, preferably by the end of the quarter. An action without a guaranteed or timely result is often seen as a failure, an act of foolishness. But what if the most meaningful actions are the ones whose results we can never know? I want to take you to November 16, 1974. Deep in the jungle of Puerto Rico, the largest radio telescope on Earth at the time, the Arecibo Observatory, was being rededicated after a major upgrade. It was a giant, 1,000-foot ear cupped to the heavens, and its primary job was to listen. But on that day, for 3 minutes, it did something different. It spoke. A group of scientists, including Frank Drake and Carl Sagan, had decided to use the telescope's immense power not to receive a signal, but to send one. They composed a message. It wasn't written in any human language, but in the universal language of mathematics and binary code. It was a digital postcard, a picture of who we are, encoded into a simple grid, 1,679 bits long. The message contained a simple, stylized stick figure of a human being. It showed our DNA, the numbers 1 to 10, the chemical elements essential to our life, a diagram of our solar system with the third planet offset, and a sketch of the Arecibo telescope itself. It was a note in a bottle, a ghost of a whisper, sent from our tiny shore into the cosmic ocean. But here is where the story shifts from an act of science to an act of profound, almost spiritual, significance. Where did they send it? They aimed it at a globular star cluster named Messier 13, a dense, glittering ball of 300,000 stars on the far side of our galaxy. M13 is 25,000 light-years away. Let's do the math on that. The message, traveling at the speed of light, will take 25,000 years to get there. If there is someone there to receive it, and if they choose to reply instantly, that reply will take another 25,000 years to get back to us. A 50,000-year round trip. No one who sent that message would be alive to hear the reply. Their children would not be alive. Their entire civilization, their language, their nations, their greatest cities, all might be gone, turned to dust and memory, before that echo could ever return. So we are forced to ask the obvious, practical question: what's the use of it? By any transactional measure, the Arecibo message was a perfectly useless gesture. It was a waste of energy, a shout into an empty cathedral. But that is to misunderstand its purpose. The message was not an investment. It was a statement. Its true audience was not some unknown intelligence in the stars. Its true audience was us. The act of creating the message forced us to hold up a mirror, to ask, if we had only 3 minutes to introduce ourselves, what would we say? What is the most essential, distilled and honest version of who we are? It was an act of profound self-reflection. The Arecibo message is a monument to a kind of thinking that we are in desperate need of today. It is a monument to long-termism, to a hope that is untethered from personal reward. It is a recognition that we are a single, fleeting moment in a story that is vastly older and will be vastly longer than our own lives. The most important work we can do is often the work we will not be around to see finished. It is the planting of a tree under whose shade you will never sit. It is the mentorship of a young person whose greatest triumphs you may never witness. It is the fight for a more just society that may not fully arrive until generations after you are gone. It is the quiet, defiant, and deeply human act of beginning a conversation that you know you will not be there to finish.